is now finished. I will attempt to pick this up so you can see it. You can drop your finger right. So it is very long, goes all the way down to there. So on me it touches the floor.
Hi guys, so I'm just going to show you how to make this cute little quilled earring. These are kind of free forms, so there's no exact science, you just kind of had fun with it. So the supplies you're going to need obviously is your earring hook and a jump ring to attach to your quilling thing. So try to make sure you get a jump ring that fits the size of your paper. Then you're going to need some tools just to close that jump ring, so jewelry pliers. A pair of scissors just in case you want to cut the paper down, but that's a personal choice. That's a quilling tool, so it has a split in the top of the pointy thing. And this I just use in the replacement of a cocktail stick, and then tweezers to help you line it all up. I use this to create my circle, but you can wrap around anything. And then I use a corkboard just to hold my circle in place. Again, not necessary, I just personally prefer to. And then some glue to glue it all, and your quilling strips. For this you need 3 quilling strips, as you notice. 1 colour for the outside edge and 2 for the inside. But you can use any colour. So we'll start with the outside edge, so we're just making that circle around the outside. So grab your, whatever you're working around to create your circle. My quilling thing I got from Amazon, and I think I'm 6 down, 5 or 6 down. It fits nicely in my little corkboard circle, so that's what I use. So we're going to start by gluing this in place around it. Now you want to pull it so it's snug against there, but not so tight that you can't get it off after. Guess who learnt that the hard way? So you just want to put a little bit of glue on the paper. This is why a cocktail stick will work just as well as this little quilling tool. And you're just going to pull that nice and snug around. So it's firm, but obviously not so tight that you rip the paper. And you only need a little bit of glue all the way around. So you just put a little bit on the tip and then just spread it around. This is what a cocktail stick. Even a brush would work, but I just like this little tool. It's easier to clean. And it's not a single use, it's reusable, so that's even better. So you're just going to go all the way around this, putting a little bit of glue around. You don't need much, just a little bit. It doesn't matter if it squishes out the edge, that just helps secure it. But you're going to wrap this all the way around. Now you could choose to use your scissors and snip the end off when you've got a complete circle. But I just wrap the whole thing around, and I don't mind if my ends don't meet. I think just the more paper, the sturdier it is. But that is a personal preference. If you want exactly the same size circle, and you might want to see where the ends meet and snip your paper there to match. But I'm not that fussy, and nobody's going to notice, to be fair. So just keep wrapping this around, pulling it snug until you've got to the very end. Sorry about the little jump there. My camera battery, nope, not battery, memory card filled up, and I had to empty it first to carry on, so there's a little jump there. But we haven't changed anything, we're just gluing that paper down. So that's the last bit down, so you want to just make sure it's really stuck down on that end so it doesn't peel up, and then give a little squeeze all the way around to make sure that it's all flat and squished together nicely. And then you want to gently ease it off. If you're like me, you've probably got a little glue on it around it, so it's kind of just ease off. And then you want to squeeze the paper together to make sure it's really bound together. I use the corkboard to do this, and my little tool. I just kind of push up against the edge, but you could just use your fingers squishing around the circle to make sure that you've really bound those papers nice and tight together, because it makes it nice and firm. Now we're going to fill it in, and this bit's pretty simple. I just moved my glue and everything out the way because I'm a messy toe rag when it comes to glue. So just mop that out the way. But we're just going to grab one of our two strips of paper, the inside colour. You can do any colour, it doesn't really matter. You can do different colours and have it multicoloured. I will show you at the end a two-tone one. Right, so you're going to grab your tool with your little slits and you're going to put your paper in, hopefully without dropping it. So you're just going to slide the end of the paper into that little tool and then you're going to give it a twist. You want to hold it reasonably firm and try to make sure the paper stays level and isn't rolling up or down, and then give it a little squeeze to make sure it's firm. Now I've rolled that about 5 or 6 times I think, just to get a nice little end. And then we're just going to slide down the paper, any random spot, doesn't really matter, and then we're going to twist it up to the curl that we've already done. And we're just going to repeat this process. So we're going to twist up, and so you can see it's just meeting. They're not touching, they don't need to be touching, but it's just so they're close to work with when you put them in the circle. You want them not too much paper in between them, but just pick random spots down the paper, and then you're twisting it. So you're twisting the two pieces of paper, well, the one piece of paper in half and then to two, just to give it this cool structure that looks quite nice, instead of just rolling the individual paper up in one big circle, which you don't want to do. So just make sure you've got that very end in. Sometimes you won't have an end sticking out, sometimes you will. Just make sure it's curled in so it's nice and tight. Remember to squeeze them each time so that it stays put. So there's your first quilled piece, and the next challenge is fitting it into the circle. Now the good thing about these is there's no wrong way to do it. You just kind of pop it in and then maneuver your pieces so it sits nicely. This can take a little while, depends how well the paper's behaving for the day. I was having fun with this one and it just kept pinging out everywhere, so it took me a little while to get it in. But you're just going to lay it in the circle, line it up. You want to leave room for the second sheet, but you'll be able to maneuver it later to put the other one in as well. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a rough idea how you want it to stick in. You can still curl it extra using the tweezers at this point, just so that it gets a little tighter and fits in side by side, that sort of thing. But yeah, just fiddle around until it's in. As you see, it's not perfect there. It doesn't have to be. We'll be manoeuvring it again later. It's just roughly in, leaving a space to start the other one off. So now we're just going to repeat the process with the second strip. So just give a little curl at the very end. Remember to squeeze that to hold it in, and support the sides to make sure it doesn't twist on you. You want the pieces of paper to stay level, but otherwise it's the exact same process. So just randomly pick spaces down the end to double over to twist. So really nice and simple. The earrings you'll make, they're going to be sisters, not twins. We're not worried about getting an identical match. It's the fun of the freeform. You just see what comes. You could attempt to match them, but it takes away the fun, just enjoying yourself. So I'm just playing with it there, seeing how it all sits, giving it extra curls in places I think it might need. And then I'm just going to fit it in. This is why your tweezers are really handy. Obviously my fingers are in the way of half of it, but you need to hold it down so it doesn't pop up, because these things are a little springy. So you just kind of ease them in. So I have sped most of this up, so it's taking me a lot longer than it looks. So don't worry if it takes you a while. Some days they're going really quick and simple, and you just go there and done. And other days you can spend ages manoeuvring the things because they like to bounce around everywhere and untwirl. So it just depends on the day. But keep at it. It might look like the two won't fit in, but they will. You just have to maneuver things and give extra little twists to tighten up coils and things, and then it will all sit in nicely. Then use a flat surface to push it down and make sure that it's all flat and even. All pieces are laying exactly straight on their sides. There's no twists, no bits popping up. And you want to make sure it's a nice level surface ready for when you glue it. Just doing some final little tweaks there, making sure it's down, so nothing to worry about. Okay, to glue it down, you're going to grab your little gluey stick, your cocktail stick or your little metal point. Use your tweezers to help hold things and maneuver things. You don't want it popping up. As you see, it does like to pop up. And you're going to put a little dot of glue everywhere a piece of paper touches another piece. So that's around the whole outside edge with that original large circle you created. But then also for each individual curl, you want to make sure you're gluing everywhere it touches. This is just to make sure that it's fully held down. You don't want any pieces not secure and coming apart. So it doesn't matter if it moves around, you can still maneuver it within reason. Today was a pretty hot day, so the glue was drying reasonably quickly. On a cool day you'd have a little more working room. But you're just going to make sure every single curl and piece of paper is stuck to another piece so that it all holds in nice and neatly. Make sure you keep your pieces flat, so every so often just give a little push down if it looks like they're becoming a little uneven. Just really encourage that to dry flat. Then you're going to apply the glue across the top of it. What you want to do basically is make sure you've coated every single piece of paper. That's going to make sure that each thing is not only glued to another curl, but it's glued to the paper that it's twisted with, and it's just going to keep it much firmer. And the added bonus with all of the glue on this, it dries clear, so no one's going to see it, but it gives a little bit of protection in the water. A pair you'll see at the end that I made, I think it's about 4 years ago, and I've worn them in the rain and they've been fine. So the glue really helps just keep them in place. But this is the final piece on the thing. So we've glued one side, you want to let it dry, and then we're going to glue the other side, which is the same process. So making sure you get every little curl in and then doing the top to make sure everything is fully coated, both sides, and secure. You should be able to easily see anywhere that needs a bit of glue on it. You don't want to have big chunks of glue, so try to spread it, and sometimes you get like these little bubbles where it's spread over. You can just pierce it with your little stick, and so you don't have sheets of glue, it's just on the paper, and it looks quite neat and tidy then. So once that's done, you want to let that dry again, and then we're going to attach the findings for the jewellery for the earring. So that's the finished earring. As you see, once it's dry, it's pretty firm. The springs won't come out if you push it. They should stay in nicely because you've glued everything together. So grab your jump ring and look for the biggest spiral that you've got, because that's always the best one to put your jump ring in. So just find whichever one's the biggest, move it to top, and then slip your jump ring in. Now it should sit just nicely around. You don't want to be squishing your paper. And then pop your earring hook onto it, and then you're going to close it with your jewelry pliers. I ended up using my pliers and tweezers for this because apparently this didn't want to play ball and they were actually crossing slightly, so I needed to realign it. So it takes me a little while, but if you've got it lined up properly to start with, it should take you a few seconds to apply this. It's just been a little fiddly for me. There we go, just squeeze it so it's close. You want them really meeting and touching so it doesn't fall off. And that's you done. So nice, quick, simple pair of earrings. Grab the other one. See, as you see, they're sisters, not twins. But that's what I like, because it's freeform. You don't want it all matching. As I said, you could match it if you wanted, but I like the freeform, just having a funky pair of earrings that just look nice together. And as I said, you can do this with different colours, so you can have an outline colour and then a nice deep colour on the inside. You can play with it and see what you can come up with, but I think they're cute. And you can see my ones from 4 years ago are still going pretty good strong. So I'll see you all later. Bye.